Subscribe to ULO to get all of our weekend and racing festival tips. Plus, as the weekend gets near, be sure to check in to our ULO Weekender podcast on Spotify, where Barney will be hosting me, Caroline, Katie, or Marie-Francois to preview some of the big races coming your way. Well, it's Lingfield Park Trials Day on Saturday. I think that this is the most relevant trial to the Derby and the Oaks Classics at Epsom next month. Kicking things off at Lingfield, it's a real shame that there's just the 3 lining up for the Oaks trial. As I said on the podcast this week, I think that this Lingfield Park course is the most telling trial for the Derby and the Oaks, with those up and downs, camber and the turns, giving the horses a real test before they are let loose on Epsom's tricky track. So, out of these 3, it's pretty hard to get away from Aidan O'Brien's Jaysella, who is a long odds-on to take this. She's a Frankel filly, with a whole host of fancy entries in the diary, and I do think that she ran well enough last year to justify favouritism, running to within a length and a quarter behind stablemate Bedtime Story in a filly's maiden at Leopardstown. I thought Bedtime Story was the most exciting juvenile filly last year, and if Jaysella has trained on, she should have the measure of Harpsichord and Love Talk. Saturday's nap is in the Derby trial, where Aidan O'Brien is going to take this with Puppet Master, the choice of Ryan Moore and the class act of this lineup. He was 4th in the Ballysacks last time out, where we'd given the winner, Delacroix, as the Sunday next best, and he's looking something special, so Puppet Master can have his day in the sun at Lingfield Park. Having said that, I'm really liking the Gareth-sired colts coming through, so Richard Hannon's Nighttime Dancer is surely too big a price at around 12-1 this week, and I'll bet he will give Puppet Master a race. That looks a tempting reverse forecast to me, so that's my guess, but it's Puppet Master for the win for Inform Ballydoyle. My next best is Kikuli, lining up in the Spring Trophy Stakes at Haydock Park. I really liked Kikuli last year and couldn't believe it when Hartem got first run on him in the Jersey at Royal Ascot. Aidan O'Brien's River Tiber had gone off a big favourite for that Group 3, but it was Richard Hannon's Hartem that broke free from the pack at the 2-furlong pole, and Oisin Murphy on Kikuli just ran out of track to go down by a short head in a real thriller. Tiber Flow is up for William Haggas, but it could be Owen Burrows' Allian Arby that gives Kikuli most to think about under super cool Jim Crowley, and they're next to each other in the stalls, so I'd expect plenty of pace out of the gate, with Allian Arby being a too darn hot gelding. A very good contest for the grade, but Harry Charlton's in a purple patch, so I'll take Kikuli to score. At Ascot, it's one for us girls here, as Holly Doyle gets the leg up on Julie Camacho's Sapphire for the fillies handicap. With John and Thady Gosden's Rainbow's Edge topping the weights, making a first start in a handicap in the Royal Silks, Sapphire looks well treated. And that will do nicely, thank you, Holly. Last year's winner, Balachi, is back for more Ascot success for Grant Chewer, if regaining the form of last year, where she does seem better earlier in the season. Rainbow's Edge does have William Buick booked for the ride, so he's the one to make Holly work for it, but Sapphire can take this. Next up, I'm sticking with Oisin Murphy and Roy de France to take the Victoria Cup. There's plenty to make a case for, but Roy de France has form on fast ground and should be fully tuned up after a couple of spins on the all-weather this year. Steph Hollinshead's Mile can't seem to stop winning, so goes on my shortlist, while Rafe Beckett's Queeret has just about topped the markets this week for Juddmonte. At a bigger price, Ed Walker's English Oak won the Buckingham Stakes here last year and has William Buick aboard, but Roy de France is the one for me. Back at Lingfield Park, I'm going to side with Roger Varian's Jabara for the Chartwell, as I thought I saw enough in her last run at Keeneland to swing me her way. That US race was a Grade 1, and if she hadn't hung right after taking the widest of all routes round the home bend, I think Joel Rosario would have had her much closer. So on Saturday, that's Silvestre de Souza's job to keep Jabara in a straight line. Rafe Beckett's Cathedral, a too darn hot filly, cost €800,000 for Ammo Racing, so has to be respected, with Marco Botti's Great Generation another big danger in a cracking race. Great Generation won this last year and goes well fresh, so she makes up my 3, with Jabara just edging the vote. Tempting for a tricast.